Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want to live fully embodied, nervous system regulated, open-hearted, radiant, and alive. Here we explore the practices, modalities, and lived rhythms that return you to yourself, to your heart, to your body, your intuition, and your divine spark. This podcast is for women who are ready to awaken their inner creatrix, activate their inner manifester, and remember, an ecstatic life isn't a destination. It's the path we're walking together. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Ecstatic Life Podcast. I'm here today with Shellbe Cucuel. Welcome! Yay!
Great to be back.
She's back. And today, Shellbe and I are going to be doing part 2 of our natural solutions for mental health. So as we teased in the Between Seasons new intro we did for that reboot of that original episode, and if you have not heard it, you can find it 2 times back in season 1 and in the Between Seasons bonus episodes. So go back and listen to part 1. But this time we are going to be focusing more on the struggles, the mental and emotional struggles, even physical struggles that are really pervasive for moms, for new moms, postpartum, and just the pressures from moms in general. So, yeah, you want to open us up here, Shell?
Yeah, that's awesome. So I was just talking to a friend and I said, I really like to appear to be this super grounded mom that's like, oh, let your kid play in the dirt. Everything's fine. I said, but inside, I'm like dealing with my own things of freaking out and nervous system regulation. And so I've been working really hard on that the past few months, which we had touched on in that teaser intro, talking about hydration. So I just feel like these are little tiny things you can do that make such a big change. And it's really, has really been helpful to me. So I'm always honored to come on your podcast and talk about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I always feel like I just, you're like, hey, you ready? You ready? You ready? And then I'm like, yeah, sure, man. I'll do it on a Friday. And then we have this great conversation. I'm like, why don't we do this every week? I don't know.
I know. Every time, literally.
I know.
You're like, wow, why haven't we talked in a month? What?
I know.
It's so much fun.
Time just flies.
Oh my gosh, it does. Well, and that's part of it. Like when talking about the stress on moms, it's like our schedules are so booked. Like we are so freaking busy all the time.
And we are stay-at-home homeschool moms.
Yeah. And
So
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, working. And, for you, you're a single mom, which is that's all the pressure of the, care. So yeah, it's like the constant pressure that is on mothers all the time. It's relentless. It's unending. And it's so important, like you said, nervous system care. It's so important to find those like mini breaks throughout the day, to have the tools in your toolbox, to regulate yourself, to come back to calm. Because otherwise that pressure can just build and it comes out all squirrely and sideways as, anxiety or irritability or insomnia or, a whole host of things. So.
Oh, yeah. And I really, I know you've been to see an acupuncturist or Chinese medicine, and one of the questions on the intake form is, do you feel like there's not enough time in the day? I don't know if you remember that, but it always stuck out of my mind because I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, of course. And that's one of those emotions that you have where you're feeling too rushed or your nervous system isn't regulated. I'm not 100% sure how that correlates in TCM, but I just remember that question. So when I'm having that feeling of like, there's just not enough time in the day. It's like, whoa, step back. Hold on. There is. So what's going on? So that's a really reflective thing. And then we all do this, but I'm super hyper aware to not take out my frustration on my 6-year-old. So it's like, I walk into the RV, there's shit everywhere. We have 900 baby dolls, 200, Barbie dolls. Plus I am kind of messy myself. So the kitchen's a mess and I'm hungry. It's over, so then she says, Mommy, watch my cartwheel. And I'm like, ah! So I usually catch myself before I do that, but I need to stop, pause and reflect. Like I named my child Selah. And why am I feeling this way? Pay attention. I'm just hungry. Like So I grab a piece of cheese and then I sit on the floor and play Barbies for a second and just say, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. But to me, that's like this little positive trigger when I have that question in my mind. And the next thing is, am I hydrated? Because that's usually no.
Yeah, yeah, and you touched on that in the very beginning, and we touched on that in our teaser. It's like how important those little things are. You know, really, it's like, and it's such like basic toddler level stuff. But as moms, we are not checking in on ourselves enough. Like, have you drank water today?
Yeah.
Or did you just drink coffee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you eaten protein? Or are you running on like a half a granola bar that your kid left
Toast.
over?
I'm
Yeah.
just toast. Just toast. I'm like, ah.
You think about the children, right? You think about like, oh, make sure you drink your water. You have your water bottle with you. Make sure you eat a good breakfast before you go out and play. You know, you think about that with your kids, but it's like, are you turning that back around and giving yourself that care?
Well,
Before nervous system regulation tools, like are we taking care of the basic fundamental needs for nourishment?
Yes. Well, you said in a podcast a while ago that was so good. You're like, are you eating or are you just eating like your kids' leftovers? Like, did you have half of a grilled cheese and a couple of goldfish today? You know what I mean? Is that your lunch? And last night, actually, I was having one of those moments where I felt like time was slipping and I was like, oh, there's not enough time in the day. And I was visiting my parents and I looked at my mom and I said, I'm going to go home right now because I need to have a good meal for dinner. Last night, I had cereal. Like, Sayla had a good meal, but I had cereal and I was like, I need to have a nourishing meal. So I like made myself go home right then, even though we were hanging out. And I like to have a glass of wine too after dinner. So I was like, I need like a solid meal. Set this up right, you know, but it made me feel so much better. I slept so much better. And it was nice. And all it was black eyed peas in the Instapot. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
But I had to push myself for that because since it's just me, I could have cheese and crackers for dinner, you know?
It's
Easily.
also about honoring ourselves too. Like one of the things I've noticed, and I've made it a point starting this new year. I've gotten much more organized around our eating schedule. This was part of my like New Year's resolution. One of the things I noticed I was doing was I would just like kind of snack on stuff as I was cooking it, and I would cook like a whole meal for the family, like you know the whole thing. And then instead of like sitting down and enjoying the meal, while I was cooking, I would just like, a couple bites of rice and then a couple bites of beans and like eating a little veggies like as I'm chopping them up. And then I wasn't really hungry for dinner. And so I would just serve my family and then I would start like cleaning up and doing dishes and like I'd be up grabbing things. Oh, you need another roll or you need a refill of your drink, and wouldn't sit down and eat my own plate of dinner.
Absolutely.
And so I was reflecting, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
like, you're a person in this family. You're not the chef. You're not the server. Like, you're not the busboy. Like, you are a member of this family, and you deserve to sit down and enjoy a meal. So now I've implemented, we have to say our, some people call it grace, we call it gratitude, but we say what we're thankful for. We thank the plants, we thank the animals, the farmers, everything, you know, the energetic that goes into the meal, the cooks, and we eat together. And then we all have chores around cleaning up. And I prep the dishes. Somebody else does the dishes. Somebody clears the table. Somebody wipes the table.
Awesome.
So now we all have like chores that we do. So it's not just like me feeling like the, you know, server.
Servant.
Yeah, servant. Just like
Yeah.
and eating the scraps, you know, while I'm cooking. So yeah, it's so ingrained in us because even here now, one of my own like, you know, 3 years of this whole big like self-care feminine reclamation journey and coaching and doing this podcast for the last year and talking about this over and over and over again. And here I still catch myself last year doing that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I love living in a tiny home, but the one thing I really want is a dining room table. Like it could just be a breakfast table. I just literally don't have the space for it because I really want that moment. And so because I find the same thing. I'm nibbling, and then I don't even care, and I don't really have to make a meal because usually I eat something a little bit more spicy or complex than what I make Selah. So yeah, I'm doing the same thing, but I've tried to. We have like a little TV tray, and a couple of times I've been like, let's sit down and just talk and have this meal together, because sometimes like she'll be watching TV and I'm like on my computer, embarrassingly so. That's just how it goes sometimes. And it's so much better to sit and have that moment. Oh, the reason I brought that up was how much it means to your children for you to be there too. Like they might not even realize it, but I noticed that she's kind of like, oh, well, this is fun. We're having dinner together, So that's another reason why it's so important for you to sit down.
It becomes a touchstone moment. And that's what I knew, it's like in theory, I knew that. And we used to do that. And it used to be a big thing. And then sometimes these things, it's like, even if you do them for years, sometimes they start falling away and you get into these bad habits. You fall back into the, the mindlessness instead of the intention behind it. And so it's good when we can like catch ourselves.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like little things that can trigger you. Oh, I'm there again. Let me check in. Let me check in with my body. Let me check in with my nervous system. What's going on? What do I need? And like building those touchstone points in the day is like important to come back to center. And again, we think about this with kids all the time. Like they need their like downtime, nap time or quiet time. But then it's like, okay, what about you, mama?
Yeah.
What about me?
You know what we've been doing lately, and I've always loved this? We've been coloring together. So at night, like it's like the wind down. I bought one of those like meditative, there's like Mala's, like really pretty coloring books, and she has all these beautiful markers and colored pencils and stuff. And so at night we just put on like mellow music on the Bluetooth and sit down and color, and it's like such a great way to kind of come together. And then we discuss like, do you think this is the right green? And I like to challenge her like that, where I'm like, I ask her those questions that I make it really seem like I can't make the decision. I'm like, is this like a tree green or is this a grass green? She's like, oh, have you tried this one? And it's cool. I love it. I love those moments because I do tend to get kind of wrapped up in tasking all day long. And that really is, it makes me sit because I have trouble. I can take downtime, but I don't know. In the evenings, I'm usually like tasking. So that's been a really nice thing. So one of my big life hacks lately has been hydration. And I've always been an avid water drinker. Like I don't drink sodas. I'll have like a sweet tea in the afternoon maybe, or I'll have a hot tea, something like that. But I'm not a soda drinker or anything like that. Always have my big cup of water with me. So I was having all these like kind of weird symptoms. One being this pressure in my chest right here. And I was like, what is it? Kind of felt like I was getting a cold, but it wasn't. Like, and it was here. So I knew it wasn't like a heart attack or something. It was like this pressure. And it felt like someone was sitting on my chest. Like I'm having a panic attack is what it felt like. And I'm familiar with anxiety. I've definitely had some serious anxiety attacks. But I'm like, this is weird because it's, Tuesday afternoon. What's going on? So I'm doing my researching, my Googling. And it's dehydration. So like one of the things is electrolytes. Actually, the first thing I think I was listening to a podcast and he was talking about EMFs, and I'm probably not going to nail this, but I'm going to try. But he was talking about electricity and how electricity affects our body and how there's all these different points of electricity and how we're electricity. And he said, people will say like, oh, EMFs can't affect you, yet electrolytes are so important. And the correlation he made between the two is like electrolytes are literally giving your body the electricity and the nutrients and the minerals it needs to continue running. I hope that I conveyed that correctly. He said it in a very, very medically complex way. But that's what I got from it. That's what I got from it. So I was like, oh, that's like, it's like these missing pieces. And so I'm drinking this great spring water. We live out by the river, I'm drinking this great water. But sometimes when I drink a lot of water, I almost felt empty. Like I'm not satiated, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to drink a gallon of water today or whatever, and it just made me feel worse. Like I felt even more thirsty and I felt brain fog and things. So was like, let me just kind of start paying attention to this. And started making some electrolyte. I don't like the packets. They're too sweet, So I found a recipe, and it was like a little blue spirulina and some cream of tartar, which is potassium. I never knew that. Like, oh, there's that random thing of cream of tartar in the back of your cabinet. That's your potassium. So just like a couple little, I just kind of like shake it in my water now. Maybe some coconut water mixed in with some warm water, pinch of good like Celtic sea salt, and maybe a sweetener. There is a recipe for it. This is just like my daily, like, oh, I'm just going to throw in some stuff. But I have made up like a batch for myself that you just do like a quarter of a teaspoon in some water. And I'm serious. This is like a life hack for me. I have felt so much better. So much better. Taking magnesium for sleep, because insomnia is this cool thing that's happening in my 40s. And with that comes the anxiety. So magnesium at night, and then the electrolytes during the day. I feel like I'm not having to carry around my water constantly. I feel like my skin looks better. I don't have that anxious feeling. And when I do start to feel that, when I do start to feel off, whether it's brain fog, a little headache, something like that. It's like, oh, have I had electrolytes today? Or even warm water with just a pinch of salt. I almost never drink plain water anymore because it just makes me feel so much better when I just have a pinch of that good salt in it. So that's been huge. And then pairing that with some more fatty whole foods, which my skinny girl brain is like having some trouble with right now. It's like, more butter? Yes, more butter.
Yeah.
It's raw and it's
grass
fed.
food.
Mm-hmm. And I feel so much better. So that's my newest thing. And that ties into the mental health, and that ties into the taking care of ourselves. I notice this a lot with my sister and best friend. That'll be, especially my sister. She'll be like, oh, I have all these vitamins here. She won't take them. She like sets them out in the morning, and then she does it. And then she'll be like, oh God, I'm so thirsty. I'm like, have you had water today? She's like, I don't think I have. Yet her 2 children have had 2.5 meals, 700 snacks, and all the kids have. And she hasn't. So,
Yep. And that's so typical. Mm-hmm. So typical. Yeah. That's why it's something that I might harp on. That might be like, I might have overplayed this in my coaching and in my podcast, but I talk about it all the time because it's so common, because moms are giving, to your kids, to your family, elderly parents you're caring for, to your community, to your partner, to your freaking animals, to your garden, to your house. It's like give.
I mean, I don't think you can play this out, because we're all still running around fucking exhausted, carrying our big water jugs, but is anyone hydrated? And we're all having some types, maybe I shouldn't say we, a lot of people are having strange health things, or, perimenopause. And I want to say too, that maybe a lot of the mothers with young kids in their 40s had this realization that I don't know if we were meant to have toddlers in our 40s. Do you disagree?
I disagree. I think if the Creator did not want us to have children in middle age, then we wouldn't be able to earlier.
You're right.
The whole thing, you're not really guaranteed birth control in the wild.
Right.
And if we think of ourselves as animals, right? Like, if we think of ourselves in a non-industrialized, situation, living as wild humans did, well, we didn't have access to birth control. So if we could get pregnant at 45 and have a baby at 45, we were meant to have a baby at 45, because nature doesn't fuck up.
Absolutely. And I am 100% in agreement with you. However, I think with the amount of things that we take on nowadays, combined with having I heard the other day on one of your podcasts that you're not leaning into perimenopause, and I'm going to really, really work on that a lot. Like, I don't say I'm old. A lot of people my age are like, I'm so old. I don't say that. I don't do that. I'm not leaning into that shit. However, things are changing in my body. And so my friend and I and sister were talking about this the other day, that you know, it's like the taxing on your liver, the stress, the anxiety, the da 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 da, and having a toddler in your 40s seems like a lot. And so that's where I was like, well, maybe this is extra a lot right now.
I will again challenge you.
Go. That's why
Because
we talk, girl.
I have a toddler and a grown adult daughter. And the grown adult daughter gives me so much more anxiety. You see the gray hairs?
Yeah.
They all belong to her.
Yeah. Who you had
The
in
toddler,
your early 20s.
The toddler is like no problem.
Yeah.
He's just my little buddy. He's just doing his little thing.
Yeah.
The worst he does is like run over and like jump on my back and like you know. But the 19-year-old,
Stressing you out.
she's the one giving me the gray hairs. So I don't know if I had all 5 of them in my 20s and they were all like adult children now. I'm not sure that I would be
Very
less stressed.
Very true.
So
Very true.
the toddler, I think. So I heard a statistic the other day. Women who have babies in their 40s are some huge percent more. I can't remember. I wish I could remember the percentage because that would help sink it in. But some big percent more likely to live over 100 than women who don't. Yes.
I'm going to add that to my journal for my health anxiety. Like, remember you had her.
Babies keep you young. Little kids keep you young because what do? You're like running after them and like playing with them and you're getting down on the floor and like, you know, we can tend to lose mobility after we get into middle age. And so if you have young kids, they're keeping you mobile. They're keeping you active. They're keeping you engaged. So, yeah.
I literally started lifting weights last summer because I was like, Selah wanted me to do something. And I felt like, I'm too old for this, or my back hurts or something. And I was like, no. And I'll plug this YouTube workout. It's called Nourish, Move, Love. And she's a mom and she designs all of her workouts around being a mom. Great core exercises, anywhere from 10 minutes all the way up to 45-minute workouts. I do 20 to 30 and great results. It's really, really awesome. But Nourish, Move, Love, it's really, really, really good workouts. But yeah, you're right. I started doing that because I'm like, I want to go do cartwheels and not throw my freaking back out. And my back hurts. So like I did yoga this morning because my back hurts because she always wants me to do cartwheels or jump on the trampoline.
Yeah.
So,
well, and
you're
even
right.
jumping on the trampoline is awesome exercise. And like, if you don't have little kids, no grown up is going to be out jumping on a trampoline without that, you know, like,
You're right.
All right, I shouldn't say no. What was that? We're 90s kids. What was that show that had girls on trampolines?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. You don't remember that from like, Adult Swim, I think. Girls on trampolines. Anyways, if somebody knows, put it in the comments. No. No, it was like one of those spoof shows that Adult Swim ones. Anyways, if somebody knows, put it in the comments. But, some 90s, other 90s kids.
All right, well, you changed my thoughts on this. You're right. Mm-hmm. I guess that was a moment where we were just like, oh, maybe we just aren't meant to have little children. And although mine's 6 now, like I'm starting to chill at the playground. You know, I'm kicking back. I'm like, get up, you're fine, you got it, you're good.
No, I do that with my 2-year-old. That's the thing. The more you have, you're just like, are you bleeding?
Oh,
Is it broken? Like, no, you're fine. Go.
Sometimes I mean, it's very, very small feeling, but sometimes I wish I would have had more children so that I could experience that a little more, because there's so many things now when I talk to like my clients that are postpartum, you know, and I'm talking to, and I'm like, honey, it's going to be okay. I promise. Oh, I know how that feels, but you're going to get through it. Like, it would be cool to do it again and be able to like feel that, you know. However, I'm loving just having one kid at 6 years old in my 40s because she's my little buddy.
Yeah. I've got like, you know, JJ is out of diapers and like, you know, he's getting to that independent. He's about to turn 3. He's getting that independent stage, and I do have those like, oh, I could have one more, like the baby stage, so sweet, and pregnancy and birth, and then I'm like, no, what are you doing? Shut up. That's why you got an IUD. Yeah.
Oh, stop it. Yeah. Now the pregnancy and birth, that's where I mean, maybe the birth. I would like to experience that again, but I don't want to be pregnant again.
I love being pregnant.
Nope. I was cranky pants.
Well, so that reminds me, you have a story about postpartum, and that was one of the
Yes.
things we wanted to touch on. So, one of your clients having some postpartum anxiety and issues. So, that's another area. And luckily, I think that it's getting more attention now. People are more aware. But I remember after I had my first and second, there was like no thought given to postpartum depression or, like a mom's state of mind or well being in that way. And at least not, I mean, and I had midwives, like my second, I had a home birth, so I was kind of surrounded by women who should have, and I should, but, I wish
You would
had,
think, yeah.
Yeah, I had kind of paid more attention because with my second especially, I got some really bad postpartum depression. And it was like nobody noticed. It was like I was just supposed to be doing what I was doing, and nobody noticed how much I was struggling. And in hindsight, it's kind of heartbreaking. In hindsight, I look back and I'm like the day after my second daughter was born, and again, we had a home birth. It was surrounded by our family. The day after she was born, I drank a beer. Like, it's such a weird thing. And I was like so checked out for like months. I was like checked out. I was not myself. I was not okay. I was not with it. I couldn't be like left alone. I would get anxiety attacks if I was left alone. And nobody thought like, hey, maybe there's some like postpartum depression going on. Maybe there's something going on. And it was almost like I also expected myself to just like bounce back. I'm like up right after the birth. I'm up like cleaning up. I'm like caretaking everybody else. I got a house full of people and I'm like bleeding all over the place. Who cares? Like, I'm
like,
like,
I got it.
I got it. Yeah. Cooking, cleaning, serving, all these things. And, again, like, I think that was like a sign of like some sort of like desperation. And yet nobody around me noticed. And I was in too much of, I don't know, a state of shock maybe. I lost a lot of blood. I had really bad anemia with that pregnancy. I almost couldn't have a home birth because my iron had dipped so low. I ended up in the hospital. I brought it back up in time to have a home birth, but then I lost a lot of blood during the birth. So much so that I was like kind of in and out of consciousness. So there's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't think electrolytes, minerals, going back to the water thing, I don't think my mineral balance was good. And so I was not for like, I would even say for a whole year, I was not myself. And nobody thought to like check on that aspect. And it was only in hindsight after coming out of it, after having my second kid actually, and coming on to the other side of it, that I was like, ooh, maybe I had postpartum depression. Like maybe I should have talked to somebody. So yeah, I feel like now it's getting a little more attention. Practitioners are a little more aware of it, but this is another area where it's like it's so important to nourish and support the mother, and it feels like something that's still quite overlooked. So yeah. So your story, your client's
Well,
story.
and you're right, and as a mother, you have this new baby, and then all of a sudden you're like, I have to keep this other human alive. Oh, this is a lot of pressure. And it's okay. You want to pause? So anyway, speaking of little children, right? And being a mom. So then you're suddenly like, wow, this is a lot of responsibility. And then if no one's talking about it, and then for me personally, my friend / client dealt with anxiety. I personally dealt with depression, which was very strange. And a lot of details I don't really like to talk about publicly about that. But, it was so real. And I was embarrassed that and ashamed that I'm literally holding this child that I've wanted my entire life, just crying. And it wasn't happy tears in those moments. I don't know what the hell it was. But that was really hard to talk to and to talk about. So I do remember like learning a little bit about it, while I was pregnant. And I've always been a pretty sensitive, empathetic person. So I think I was like kind of thought, oh, this is a possibility. So I remember one time I could not stop crying, and I called her dad in the room, and I was like, can you just take her for a second? And he's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, wrong thing to ask. Like, please just take the baby. Like, I just need I don't know. I just have read about this and I need you to take her for a second. Of course I wasn't going to do anything, but it scared me a little bit that I was just like, I don't know what was happening. So anyways, moving forward, I'm going to have this full story on my YouTube channel pretty soon because she's kind enough to want to share this with me because I find it so important to share these moments. This is why we podcast, to share these moments of our experiences so that another mom could be listening to our podcast and go, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one that felt that. I thought I was the only one that, had trouble breastfeeding like that or whatever. So I've asked her to record this with me because it's kind of a big deal. So she has a very strong personality, first of all, very strong personality all through her pregnancy. I was like, do you need anything? Like, I'm here for you. It's your first one. Like, I want to be your support system. And she's like, no, I'm good. I have my sisters. Everything's fine. I'm like, okay, awesome. Well, she got to like 41 and 1, and she being, I think, I don't want to label her, but kind of type A personality. She was like, ask the midwives. I'm like, okay, what happens if I go to 42? Like, just tell me what the situation is. And they're like, well, we're going to transfer you to the hospital care. She called me and was like, no way. Like, I need to have this baby. So the anxiety started. And she's like, this is so different from me. I've never experienced this before. And her sweet husband, of course, is also like, what's happening right now? You're like falling apart. So she ended up, her midwives, I know that they knew that she wasn't going to go to 42. Like, they have all the tricks. So she ended up delivering, and I was actually there, which was so cool. I was there like 5 minutes after the baby was born because I was on my way over to offer some more support through this, which it was such an honor. So then baby comes and she is so happy. My friend is like, oh my gosh, I did it. She didn't even know that there was like a little bit of like scary parts happening. The midwives did a great job with just, you got this, girl. You're totally fine. Just stay focused. So she was just in a bliss. Well, then baby lost a little bit of weight. I think she said 10%. And that made her nervous. And then she just became obsessed with the breastfeeding schedule. And she was confused a little bit.
10% is normal. Just to put a pin in that, 10% is normal.
Yes. And from her knowledge, her knowledge was anything above 10%. So what her mind heard was, yeah, but she's at the top of the normal, right? So her brain just held on to this and couldn't let it go. And then when the midwife said, okay, well, you're going to feed her every 2 to 3 hours, she thought, that's it. Like, every 2 hours, that's when we're feeding, and then we're done. And then I wait another 2 hours, and then I feed. She was just in this fog. So she took her to a pediatrician, like the 3-day, checkup and newborn exam. And she went to the pediatrician. The pediatrician's like, okay, like, baby looks great. Everything's wonderful. And really everything was wonderful. But then at the end of the visit, the pediatrician says, we want to see her gain her birth weight back in such and such days. Well, my friend just latched onto that. Now she's like, oh my God, she has to get back to birth weight. So she became obsessed with how much she was feeding. She didn't think she was getting enough because the baby was crying. And she just had major anxiety. So then she was not eating because she's having so much anxiety. So every day we're doing voice notes back and forth. And I'm just calming her like, hey, this is normal. These are your hormones fucking with you right now. I literally said that to her. I was like, this is that rush of hormones that has just kicked you on your ass. Baby's fine. Baby looks great, right? Yes, she's sleeping, she's pooping, she's peeing, but she was like obsessively counting diapers. And this is so unlike her. So unlike her. So of course her husband's like, what the hell's going on? Like, where's my strong wife, And so then she called a lactation specialist. Just Googled, I want to know, like, maybe I'm not producing enough milk. She also has small breasts. So she kept hearing, oh, your milk's going to come in. You're going to have this like letdown sensation. Your breasts are going to get engorged, and it wasn't happening. So she's like, calls the lactation specialist that she found online. And the woman comes all the way out to her house. She lives way out in the country. She comes all the way out. Well, the woman was, and I think this is important to note, she's, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but she was a nurse. She's trained in a hospital setting for a very long time. Okay. So coming from a holistic side of thinking, that's not where she was coming from. And now she's a lactation consultant. So when she came, she suggested that she give her formula. She said, triple feed. Baby still is looking great. Like, baby's fine. A triple feed. So she wants her to pump. She's like, we need your milk to come in, which was wrong. Her milk was in. So she wants her to pump.
It's so hard for me to listen to that.
I know.
Yeah.
I might need to have you on with her while we do this recording, because that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I feel like this is something that can easily happen. So she told me today, I wish that I would have reached out to you before I found this lactation consultant to get a recommendation for one. So she gets this woman wants her to triple feed. So she wants her to feed, she wants her to pump, and she wants her to supplement with formula. And my friend is just totally distraught with this formula. She's like, my body has failed me. I can't, blah, 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 blah. You know, she's spiraling. Oh my gosh, spiraling. So I'm so honored to talk with her through this. So she tells us, my sister and I, so the lactation consultant came out. This is what she said. And my sister and I were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Pump the brakes. I don't think that's right. Like, I don't mean to question, not an authority, but a professional. I respect that, but something's not right here. Like, I do not think you need formula. Like, I just, no. And I knew how much she didn't want to do that. So I call my friend / the midwife that delivered my daughter and my niece, Sandy Lobana, anyways, from down south. And she immediately the next morning got on the phone, did a phone consult with my friend, and totally reassured her she does not need a triple feed. She does not need formula. She gave her some like tips and just reassured her. And sure enough, it was the anxiety. And my friend knew this, but it was the anxiety on top of everything. It was just spiraling. So then she's not eating, and then she's not drinking, and then she's crying, and then she's not whatever. And she knew that too, but it was just so much for her. So, so after she talked to Sandy, everything has been wonderful. And I told her, which I thought this would have been common knowledge. When baby's crying, just put her on the boob. Like, I don't know, just like, that's like my default. That's always been my default, right? She was like, I didn't think about that. Like, I thought I had to do it like this. And I was like, I'm sharing this right now on your podcast because I feel like that is such a common thing that we just think it's common knowledge, but it's not. Like, you don't have to feed only at 3 hours. Like, just put her on the boob anytime. And since she's done that, it's been night and day. And so she shared that with me again this morning, because I was coming on your podcast and asked her if I could share a little bit about her story. And like I said, we're going to sit down and have the whole thing on my YouTube channel, but that's real anxiety and needing self-care, and some things that she did, which I wanted to mention too. She had her sister do some breathing exercises with her. So she would lay on the floor, feet up on the couch, breathing exercises when baby was with dad. And then she went and laid in the sun any chance she got. She felt like that was really great. And then she's very spiritual Christian. So she did a lot of praying. And at night, she has a lot of night anxiety. So her parents will come and pray with her. And so that's really brought her a lot of peace. So those are some of the things. And then as soon as she got her appetite back, she's gone super high fat. So lots of raw milk and she's South African. So she grew up drinking cow's milk right on a farm. And she said that was a really great way to get calories in without having to have an appetite. So lots of raw milk and raw butter and dates with butter on them. So that's one thing, is she really upped her fat intake and good fat. And that has really helped her with the anxiety. So it's a little snippet of that.
It's amazing what some salt and fat will do for you. And they have been so demonized. Mm-hmm. But like, again, like we're talking about with the electrolytes, and there's also the minerals that we're not getting from our foods. Our foods are so devoid of minerals now, unless you're like growing it yourself or like going to an organic local farm if it's in the grocery store, even if it is organic, it's like they're so depleted. The way we farm now just, depletes the soil, and so we're just so lacking the minerals we're needing. So yeah, I take Zero Light is the one I use, but I take a hydration mineral supplement every morning, and then in my tea or coffee I put ghee or butter, and it's those, again, it's the animal fats. They've been demonized. It's like butter is so good for you, so good for you, but that and protein. It's like just focusing on that hydration and fueling your brain in the morning is so important. That can be such a huge game changer. And like you were saying before, the brain fog, if we're not getting those basic minerals and fats, like, you're going to experience brain fog.
Definitely.
And as far as the, with the postpartum period, another thing, and I know I've got a couple of postpartum episodes in the bank. One that I did this past year, Sacred Postpartum, where I talk about this, but it's so important to have care and to have people there for you, because it's such a preventative to having, postpartum anxiety and depression, and getting in those spirals and getting our health out of whack. I mean, there's so much, like, decreased bleeding, decreased complications, decreased risk of infection, decreased risk of postpartum psychosis, depression, anxiety. Like, there's having a care team, having somebody that's coming in and taking care of the laundry, taking care of the other kids if you have multiple kids, just so you can stay in bed and concentrate on breastfeeding and nourishing yourself. Somebody that's feeding you.
Yeah.
If you're having to get up and feed yourself, like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
It's so important, because it's like your job, those first 15 days, like, your job literally is to lay in bed and establish a breastfeeding relationship with that baby. And that is all you should be doing. Getting up, going to the bathroom, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Rocking chair if you gotta, but you should not be doing anything else.
Just bonding. And I talked a lot about, I think this is really important to mention too. I found that nursing and having baby on me really helped with the depression. I mean, when she was really young, I remember just crying and going, can you come here? Or not even, she was like 1, 2 walking. I'm like, can you come here? I need you to nurse right now. Because then I knew that it was releasing the oxytocin in my brain, and I could just relax. And it was that cuddle time. It was that thing. So I kept saying that to her. I was like, have that baby on you. Use it selfishly if you need to right now. Like, you're like having that feeling come up, just nurse her. Because to me, when baby is to breast, all is well. Whether they're sick or you just need it or whatever, it just feels like all is well right now. My body's working. And so that has really helped her a lot too. And then also, anyone listening to this that has a friend or a sister or a daughter or someone that is pregnant or about to go through this, like, just remember to really treat this carefully and kindly with a lot of empathy, because those hormones are what's doing this. That's rushing through your body. And my friend is a perfect example, because she's such a strong, independent, happy, outgoing, like, I wasn't surprised that this happened, but her husband sure was. Her husband was like, I've never seen her freak out like this before. So just having a lot of care and empathy and going, I'm right here with you. Cry it out. Come, just give it to me. I'm here with you. What can I get you? Or don't even ask, what can I get you? Just go get her a cup of tea. Because then we make her a delegator. She doesn't need to delegate. Just go get her a cup of tea and some toast. Some protein.
Yeah.
Well, toast with really good butter.
Yes, or better yet, stew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or smoothie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's so important to do that. Yeah. Anybody that's listening, if you have a friend or family member, like, just checking in, just being there. Yeah. Because it's it's a lot. It's a lot. And it continues to be, as we have said.
Yeah, and I told her too. I said, I'm not trying to make you feel like discouraged about this, but I want to be honest with you that motherhood anxiety like is a thing. It's still there. Like things still come up. You still are like, there's just different stages of life. You just learn to manage it more, and you learn that. I was actually telling her too this morning. She was like, it's been a little better now that the baby is sleeping a little bit more at night, because now I feel like nighttime is nighttime. And I was like, let me just give you a little tidbit of how I handled this. I just decided one day that there's 24 hours in a day. We don't really have it. Because it's 10 o'clock doesn't mean I should be sleeping. Because it's 2 o'clock doesn't mean I should be sleeping. Because my daughter has gone through times where she just wakes up in the middle of the night and nothing's wrong. She's just awake. So I just decided one day to not stress about it. And I just got up. I got us some snacks. We watched a cartoon. I was like, whatever, So I was like, just don't, that's my advice, is just treat it like 24 hours and not try to like beat yourself up too much about like, you should be sleeping right now. Because then you're just going to be stressed about it.
Well, yeah, I think the point is don't overthink it and
Yes.
don't overstress and don't think that you have to fit into this cookie cutter idea. I mean, that goes right along with the scheduled feedings and all of that. Like, the best thing is to lean into what works for you and your child, and to be light and easy about it. Because when you put all that pressure on yourself, like there's already so much pressure on your body from the outside world, everything. So to put more, mental pressure on yourself is just, it's unneeded. It's unneeded.
Yeah.
I mean, easy to say when you're on the other side of it in the moment. It's a lot harder.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good reminder. I mean, it's a good thing. And we are mothers, so we've been there. It's not like we're sitting on the outside with our martinis going, what are you stressed about? Like, we've been there. We're in it. We're still in it. And I don't know if you still do postpartum doula, but I am definitely available for any type of consults. Anybody listening that has any, feelings of this, what we've talked about, totally contact me. I would love to talk to you about it. I'm available for that. So.
Yeah, and we'll link your information, Shellbe. We will link to your YouTube so that anybody who's listening that wants to hear the full story from your friend about her postpartum anxiety experience, that'll all be in the show notes.
And my birth story is on my YouTube channel too. I don't have a ton on there yet. I'm still gathering things to put on there, but my birth story is there, and my birth story is on yours.
Yeah, I was about to say, you did your birth story on the Ecstatic Life podcast too. So.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I love talking about that, and I think it's so cool because then one day my daughter's going to be able to hear the whole story. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep, and go back and listen to the part 1 of this talk. We dove into a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like a completely different discussion around the same topic. So yeah, definitely go check that one out too. Well, this has been sweet, Shellbe. Oh, you got something else?
I just wanted to say one more thing, because with the last episode we talked about this. We talked about using essential oils for emotions. And the other day I actually went to visit said friend, and I brought her a bottle of lavender and wild orange. And of course she was like, oh, lavender, I'll put this in my bath. I was like, yes, but this wild orange here, this is for anxiety and feeling too racy. And she was like, I didn't know that. So wild orange is so nice because I love it with peppermint personally, but that's a little stimulating for baby in the room. So I'm like, just think about like how you open an orange and you're like, that's so refreshing. Just have that thought. So she has it sitting next to her chair, and I was like, just every once in a while, just open it and sniff it, and like, that just smells wonderful, and then close it. It's as simple as that. Especially with a new baby, you kind of don't want to have too many smells going on or whatever, but it's just right there. So I was happy to have those on hand to take over to her to be able to use. And a diffuser is always nice because you can passively use it like in the corner. And those two aren't harmful for baby, of course, but they're so precious and new. They don't need any strong smelling things,
Well, the Bach flower remedies too. That's that's another one, that can be really, really helpful.
I need to dive into that. I'm not too familiar with those.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed on them, but I know just from having used the flower remedies, they can be very good, especially with anxiety. So
good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was good to be back on. So don't be
Yeah.
a stranger, and
Yeah.
let's do it again real soon.
Let's do it next week.
Let's do it. All right, girl.
All right. Thank you.